Welcome back everyone. In our previous video, we deployed an agent, DBMCP agent. We talked about the agent node and how to configure and utilize different parts of the data Copilot in order to create your first agents. So let's jump into how does an agent look like. I have a few agents that I have already deployed. Let me go through my North agent, which I have carefully configured, and it's not just a trial agent, it's an actual agent working. So let me show you how does an interface look, how does this interface looks like. Let me click on the chat and let me go through this interface. On this interface, you can see that here we have templates, we have the chat history. Let's go to, we have the main interface where the thread, the chat thread is displayed. And let's go to the history and check our past conversations, and let me show you a very interesting thing in our agent interface. Let's go to this particular history thread, and as you can see here, I have asked a bunch of questions and I don't have any data displayed here. And this is one of our security feature that once you refresh the page, we redact that information, redact the data, so it's not here on the platform until you have an active user. For example, if I go here, this user is active until April, and if that user is active, he can click on this run query and the data will be pulled for him. So this is also one of the access controls that we have added to our platform. And let me show you another thing that we have touched upon in our previous video when I was deploying an agent. Here, when I was adding a user, you have seen these two toggles, show query access and detail access. And this is where it is shown at this point in this explain button. Once you click on the explain button, you can give that access to the users based on their requirements. For the details access, it will give an access to them like an explanation of the agent, what the task it has performed. And it will explain that in very natural language. And once you go to this option in advanced, you can give this advanced access to some of the technical users where they can also see the technical query that the user, that the agent has generated, and it's running on, it's running against your database and pulling the data against this particular query. So this is one thing, and you will see this download button where you can export this table in any format of your liking, and this window where you can display this table in full screen to go through it and download it from here as well. And the next important and interesting part is the deep analysis. And once you click on the deep analysis, it will give you a data processing agreement. Once you agree, it will ask you to select a template, and that's where the template manager comes in place. Here you can add a full report template if you really like to, based on each detail, that what kind of paragraphs and what kind of sections it should be in your document, and you can detail that out, or you can give particular instructions like go on the websites, check my MCP server, check this API to get this information. And this part of the detailed analysis is very important for predictive prescriptive analysis. We generate and utilize some of the data, not share any data with the agent, but we mask and transform the data into a non-identifiable format, and then generate an analysis, and then re-transform the data back in our own local database, in our local background backend, to give you a particular deeper analysis. And you can choose not to utilize it as well as if you like to, but once you do, and it will have an exhaustive process where it will take a few minutes to an R depending on your data, depending on the kind of analysis that you've generated, and it will generate an analysis report. And for example, in this conversation, I already have an analysis report, and this will look like this, where it will have anything's. For example, I have in this analysis asked for the order summary, analysis, product performance, and I want these different sections into this particular report. So this is something that I can utilize for creating fast track reports based on my data, and this is one of the key use cases that we provide to our clientele to deploy agents, share them among different teams so they have access to the kind of data that they require to generate analysis, generate reports, to see what's happening inside their data for the quick overview.